Amid growing fears of conflict in the Indo-Pacific, the United States and the Philippines have just launched their largest joint military drill in history. With over 14,000 troops on the ground, this operation is more than a training exercise. It's a warning shot aimed directly at Beijing. The U.S. and the Philippines will start their flagship annual military drills Monday. Touted as a rehearsal for the defense of the nation amid ongoing tensions with China. Billed as the Super Bowl of exercises in the region, this year's drills will also show that the Trump administration is intent on keeping Washington's military support for its longtime ally as it faces growing pressure from Beijing's expansive claims in the South China Sea. An estimated 14,000 troops, including 9,000 from the U.S., are set to participate in drills that will be staged in western and northern Philippine locations facing the South China Sea and Taiwan, considered as regional flashpoints. The operation includes amphibious assaults, live fire exercises, air defense drills, and for the first time, missile simulation near the South China Sea. China has been rapidly militarizing disputed reefs and islands in the South China Sea, claiming nearly the entire body of water as its own. With Chinese vessels frequently entering Philippine waters and ongoing pressure on Taiwan, the U.S. and its allies are no longer watching from the sidelines. They're preparing. Many of the drills are taking place in northern Luzon, just a few hundred miles from Taiwan, and across Palawan, which faces the Spratly Islands. These locations are strategic hotbeds, giving the U.S. rapid access to Taiwan and the South China Sea in the event of conflict. This year's Balikatan has made one thing clear: the Philippines is now a frontline player in the Indo-Pacific security architecture. U.S. forces brought the big guns: high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, advanced radar units, and even stealth fighter jets like the F-35 and F-22 are participating. Filipino forces are being trained with cutting-edge equipment, marking a significant leap in interoperability between the two nations. This drill isn't just about U.S. and Philippine forces. It's a regional coalition forming against Chinese aggression. Japan, Australia, and South Korea are all involved, whether in exercises or strategic support. The message? The Indo-Pacific will not be dominated by a single power. The Allies' defense partners, Australia and Japan, are also expected to participate, while over a dozen other countries were invited to observe the exercises that run through May 9th, called Balikatan, a Filipino word that translates as shoulder to shoulder. Manila is treating the exercise as a rehearsal for our defense. Philippine Brigadier General Michael Logico, director for the drills, told reporters last week. Asked about a potential adverse reaction from China, Logico said, "When we plan out our exercises, we are agnostic to whatever reactions other countries may have." Beijing claims nearly the entire South China Sea, an assertion that Manila rejects because it has its own claims in the resource-rich waterway. China also sees self-governing Taiwan as a renegade province and held military drills around the island recently. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced during his visit to Manila last month that the U.S. would be deploying the NMESIS anti-ship missile system for this year's drills, which will cover air and missile defense, a new feature in the war games. The planned exercise builds on previous drills, signaling continuity with the first Trump administration and the Biden administration, both of which defined China as the greatest threat to the United States, said Bonnie Glaser, managing director of the Indo-Pacific program at the German Marshall Fund of the U.S. The drills are happening as China's trade war with the U.S. intensifies. Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro said in an interview this month that Manila expects a sustained $500 million in annual defense funding from Washington through 2029 to boost its military capabilities and deter China's aggression in the region. This is the Super Bowl of all exercises in this part of the region. Logico said. Beijing was quick to denounce the drills, calling them provocative and destabilizing. In response, China launched its own exercises near Taiwan and increased its presence in the South China Sea. The region is now witnessing a high-stakes game of military chess. In the background of these drills lies the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, which grants U.S. access to 9 military bases in the Philippines, up from the original 5. Some of these bases are directly facing Taiwan and the disputed sea lanes, drastically increasing U.S. reach and response capability. A new dimension of the maneuvers is unfolding, now broadened to span a 10-day interval across 3 strategically significant islets skirting Taiwan's maritime fringe. In an unprecedented move, the United States Marine Corps is orchestrating the emplacement of anti-vessel missile systems within the Luzon Strait, an act bristling with geopolitical signal. These evolving maritime key terrain security operations, or MKTSO, are now inching toward the precipice of the contested South China Sea, a theater China nearly monopolizes in its maritime assertions. A condensed 5-day segment of the MKTSO is on the agenda for Balabac, a diminutive isle that serves as one of the rotational access points granted to American military presence. Poised just beneath Palawan, the largest Philippine landmass in proximity to volatile flashpoints like Second Thomas Shoal and Sabina Shoal, Balabac carries tactical weight. These shoals have long been touchstones for fraught Philippine-Chinese maritime skirmishes. Meanwhile, Palawan will witness a kinetic beach defense drill, a live-fire engagement explicitly orchestrated to thwart hypothetical hostile amphibious incursions and evolution from the prior iterations, which were confined to less geopolitically charged locales. This year marks a watershed moment for Japan's self-defense forces as they transcend the observer role and partake directly in the Balikatan joint exercises. Also returning to the fold is Australia, a long-standing Pacific confidant of the United States, steadily contributing compact detachments since 2014. With 14,000 troops in motion and global attention on the South China Sea, the world watches closely. The message from Washington and Manila is clear. They will stand shoulder to shoulder, and they're preparing for whatever comes next. Will these massive drills help secure peace or ignite a wider conflict? Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more real-time updates and in-depth military analysis from around the world.